Okay, so this is so funny. Every group is different. I didn't have anybody ask this last year, but this is such a good question. I put this piece of paper up here, portrait style, and that's normally how they're made because if you think of a forest, the trees, you can have more of a tree if you're doing it portrait. However, if you want to have more trees but shorter, then you could go landscape. So it's totally up to you. Feel free to choose. Here's what we're going to do now. We're going to tape a border and trees. In this example, you can see, make sure your tape has lost its stickiness, Stick it on your pants a couple times. But as you can see, this border is fairly simple and straightforward. But the trees, be creative. Think about a forest in nature, right? Are the trees perfectly symmetrical and straight? No, they're not. Imagine going out into the forest and looking. You can look at the bush right outside this window and some of the trees outside there. You can imagine. So the example does show that the trees generally are straight-ish, but the branches are varied, and they're varied in length, they're varied in width, and they branch out in different directions. So that's one way to do it. If we look back at the example, you can see a couple of different ways. The first on the left doesn't even have any branches. Those birch trees, those are beautiful and they don't have branches. So you don't have to put branches on your tree, but you can. If you want to do a branch, just tear off some of your trunk and make branches. Okay. Anyway, these are some of my kids. They were the two up at the board are teaching the class how to do it. Whoops, I went the wrong way. Okay, does anybody need a little bit more time? Yes? Okay, I heard a yes. I really want to find the finished pictures. I don't know if I must be in a different spot. Once we did this project, though, the kids, year after year, they've come back to this, and they've, in free art time, they love doing this. Maybe not with trees, but just with the paper and the watercolor. And they've passed it on to the new younger students who didn't have that art project with us. So, oh, here it is. I know, and it's and everyone is so gorgeous. My little kindergartner's in the front. So different. I mean, one has bright primary colors and the other has these really light pastel colors. But they did this on their own, Anyway, so, okay. So, once you've got your tape down, it's time to paint the watercolor wash. When you're painting it, you have the option of painting whatever colors you want. If you want to paint a sunset or a sunrise, think about how that might look. The example on the screen is a dark night sky. So you could use blues and blacks and purples, or if you want to do just a rainbow wash, that looks cool too. It's kind of like a sunset or a sunrise. In the examples, Elena up here made leaves near some of her branches, and then she did kind of a sunrise maybe in the background. Finn did the night sky. Preston wanted grass in the background. So you guys do whatever you want. Go ahead and take out your paints and your brushes and enjoy, paint away. Ooh, that's pretty. You're thinking fall scene-ish? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Wait, could you see the colors there already?
No.
Oh, okay. I was like, normally after teachers convention though, like after next week, I start to see. When I worked up there, I could see him driving back up.
Yeah, it was definitely getting cooler.
Yeah.
We stayed off Superior for a little bit,
Oh,
and
that's
it was
neat.
50 degrees at night.
That sounds lovely. I love that area. Do any of you guys want a bigger brush? Larger? You don't have to. Okay. Yeah. Oh.
What year did they do this at the lift? Because I have to teach art, but I'm in Michigan and I don't want to repeat it if they've already done it. So I have 6 through 8.
Oh, it was a few years ago. This was, I think, before. Oh, wait. Oh, this is the one you're welcome. This is one we did a couple of years, like this last year. But the first time we did it, when they taught it at Lyft, thanks for the music, that's beautiful. It was before COVID, so you should be fine. Thank you so much, this is awesome. It's like so relaxing.
You're like a different person already with the music on.
I am, like I love it. I'm so musical. It's true, I feel it. No, whatever. Do you want a bigger brush?
Oh, okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. For the wash, it's probably easier, yeah. You can use the little one for details.
Thank you.
You're welcome. But you think of like King Saul and the mental struggles that he had and how the music made such a difference. I'm like, I know, it really does.
And the Saul throws a javelin.
I know, that's true. Good point. Did you want? Oh, you got it. Awesome. Yeah. So pretty. That looks so nice. Yeah. Back here and see if you guys wanted a bigger brush, but you have some varied sizes, so that's good. Yeah. Oh, I love it, guys. That's so cool. I love all the different ideas that I'm seeing. It's awesome. Do you want to do art with us?
What are you doing?
We're doing like a watercolor painting with tape and trees. It's like super simple, relaxing. If you want to, I can get you tape.
Even just let me put all my equipment back in my car so I make sure I have everything, and then I'll come.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. One, two, three, four, 5, 6. Let me guess. There you go. Get some for Debbie. Now, when you're doing this project with your students, you can be talking about a number of different art concepts. Just depends on the one you want to focus on. This could be when you're talking about blending colors together, value, the foreground and background, the contrast, I think I had some on here. Now I'm forgetting, but there's a number of different things that you can use when you're doing this project. When you get done painting, if you want to have that kind of a marbled effect, feel free to come up and get some salt and sprinkle some on, and it will create little bursts on your paper. So if you would like, so it looks kind of like what you see on here in these areas. That's what makes that effect, is the salt reacting.
Sprinkle it on there?
Yeah, you can just try sprinkling it on. Sprinkle it on a little piece and see what you think.
After you take the tip off, you put like glue on it so that it'll stick, or
The salt, you mean?
that, yeah.
No, this is before you take the tape off. It actually, you just sprinkle it right on the wet paper. And when it hits the wet paper, it will, yeah, it will absorb, but it
Yes, so that's
reacts. I don't know if it pushes away the color somehow, but it makes these little bursts.
oh.
Yeah, so like a snowy scene or a night sky, or even this if you want like a little bit of sparkle, but it doesn't really sparkle, it's just more of a burst effect. So, yeah. If you want, you can try it on like, you know, one of these little notepad. It's not quite the same effect as watercolor, but if you use your notepad and paint and then sprinkle the salt, you can kind of see what it does. Okay, we're gonna let them dry while we talk a little bit more about art in our classrooms. So if you're still painting, that's okay, you can listen, and I'll try to bring this up. Thank you. You're amazing. When we were talking with Carol earlier about music, she pointed us to the Fine Arts website. That's also the place you can go to look for the arts curriculum. There's a link on this slide, and this slideshow will be in Padlet. You have a couple of North American Division approved options. They're directing us to Davis Art and to Arts Attack. Either one of those are in the textbook list for art. Davis Art, they have explorations in art. They have an online or a textbook-based option, and this is standards-based, comprehensive, and it has materials. Guys, it's an amazing art program. And it's also pretty expensive, so usually a larger school will get it, maybe. But I'm not saying you couldn't. Just explore the different options. Arts Attack is, you know, if you want to have a volunteer in your classroom to help you teach art, Arts Attack is that program, because it has, used to have VHS, but now it's online videos that you can use. There's a teacher. She shows the students exactly what to do, and then you can be the art assistant, and you go around and help the kids while you're listening together to the teacher show you how to do the project, and she'll teach about art history or various things. So the online program, again, if you purchase the whole comprehensive program for your school, it does cost a bit, but there are some different options there. Here's a picture of what Davis looks like and what the Arts Attack website looks like. Last year, Kalisha and I tried out Arts Attack in our classroom, but not the comprehensive program. We tried I think it was the Introduction to Art. So on the screen you can see there's Arts Attack Complete Curriculum, that's in the left corner. And then in the middle top row is Introduction to Art. That gives you like 24 art lessons instead of, or is it 12? No, I think it's 24. Instead of like the whole year. Is it 12? Thank you. It was, oh, I know why it was 24, because we kind of combined when we were doing it together. Thank you. The nice thing about the 12 though is that for a much cheaper price, or a price that's actually reasonable for small schools, you can still get that added art component with a teacher that specializes in art, and there's some great projects in there. And then you can also have the freedom to add in some of your own things, like tied into the curriculum, for example, or maybe tied into literature. These materials are not Adventist developed. However, they do have a statement of discretion on the website, just so that you're aware that they've carefully considered the materials, and they say, when you're using them, that you use your own discretion for the materials that are there. So I'm sure you guys would do that anyway, but. Of course, you can use other materials to teach the standards. The fine art standards are available at the link here. You can find them on the Adventist Education webpage, the Visual Arts webpage. And Kalisha and I took those standards and divided them up into quarters. So then we linked the Arts Attack to that, as well as other projects. We are providing this to you guys to use if you want, but you don't have to. But I believe that there's that document in the Padlet that you can click on and use, if you so desire. So these standards are like, you can see there's either 1 to 4, 5 to 8, or K to 8. So you just look carefully to see like which ones, because we put all the standards in there since we teach K to 8. Okay, I'm trying to think, maybe I can pull that up. I don't know where you guys are at on your painting, because I haven't been watching while I've been talking very much, but once you are done, you want to let it dry, and then you can remove the tape. So I'm wondering, I know it hasn't been that long, and we still have about 15 minutes. I would let it dry more. If you remove the tape before it's dry, it's going to bleed into the trees, and it just doesn't look as cool. So the last step I do want to show you, though, once it's dry and you remove the tape, we get to add the details of the trees. So we're kind of making like birch trees, right? Because they're white, or maybe, I don't know. Yeah, probably birch trees anyway. You can use your brush and some watered down black paint, or you can use Sharpies. Every table got a Sharpie on your black and white mat, your decor mat. So if you want to use a Sharpie, you can use a Sharpie to paint the little variations on the birch bark. Some of my kids, when they painted these, and we were talking about painting stripes, they were just like going to paint the stripe all the way across. And so we paused and we talked about how in the birch tree, these little, what are those things? It's, Dr. Atkins, the nature guy at Camp Asabel, was talking about this one time. Does anybody remember what those are? It's like a specific, what makes the black stripes on birch trees? Does anybody know? Okay, I'm gonna look this up while we're painting, because I'm really curious. He said it and I remember. Google is so funny. What makes the black stripes under our eyes? Staying up and making lesson plans until 2 in the morning. Oh, okay. It's where they breathe. Birch trees have black streaks on their trunk in order to exchange gases between the plant and the atmosphere. That's so cool. They're known as lenticels? Yeah. Is that what it says? These black birches are also called as lenticels. That's where you exchange water vapor, carbon dioxide, and oxygen. That's so cool. So breathe. Okay, so you want to make sure your birch trees can breathe. So paint the stripes. But they don't go all the way across, right? And they're not all the same size or shape when you look at the lenticels on a birch tree. So it's so cool how God made birch trees. You can incorporate some science in here. If we had white paint, you could paint snow, which sounds kind of nice after being outside today, but I'm still not ready for it. So when we get to that point, we can reveal. What questions do you guys have about art in the classroom, though? I think there might be a couple other resources. What? Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! What in the world? Why?
What is this? What is this? We don't know.
I love you, Ruth. You as an artist, you crack me up. But it turns out so good. Remember last year's? I think that you're so funny. I know. Oh, Debbie.
We even use the current tan.
Do you want to sit back here and do
Yes.
it? Is there one of these spots for you, or maybe?
Nope, she can bring
Me here? Okay, perfect. Okay, so Debbie, here's your tape.
Okay.
So you're gonna use this tape to make a border on your paper, and also you can use it to anchor your paper to the table.
All right.
So I put it on my clothes because it's better if it's not quite as sticky. So when you take the tape off, it doesn't take the paper with it.
Well, the kids love it probably.
Yeah, it's true.
They're never going to do that.
It always cracks us up so much. Okay, let me see. Oop. Let me go get you your other supplies. Oh, guys, these are so cool. What? Yeah. I forgot. Yeah, no problem. Okay, there was a question. Does art have to what? Oh. Wait, who you wanted to? Does art have to be taught as a separate subject? No. Oh, whoops, I didn't mean to get you more tape. Okay. Someone asked, does art have to be taught as a separate subject? And I think with your thematic plans, if you know that you can incorporate subjects together to teach us. Yeah, so no, it doesn't have to be. But you do need to teach the standards of art. And the minute requirement, if you look, I think it's usually about 45 minutes a week. So you can divide that between days. Like if you're working on an art project in science, maybe you're painting or drawing the cell, like an animal cell or a plant cell. And you can incorporate it, but you want to be sure that you explicitly teach whatever art standard that you're doing there. So if you're let's see. I'm trying to look at the standards here, but I guess we can just click right here. I think you get my point, though.
We have to have the standards in there.
Right. You would need to teach. So if you're teaching 1 through 4, and there's these standards for creating. Yeah. Like there. Drawings, repurpose objects to make something new. So if you're studied about recycling in social studies or science, you could make a found art object. There's all kinds of things you could do. What was I getting? Oh, yes. Yeah, I don't know that you'd have to explicitly write the standard in there, but you would know in your mind, okay, this is when I'm teaching this standard. But you'd probably want to check it off on your standards list or put it in your long-term plans. I'll bring it up here in a minute and show you. Okay, sorry, I got distracted.
That's all
Sorry.
right.
And then here's
So
kind
I'm
of
gonna
a
do border, and then the rest of them are silhouettes
trees.
of trees?
Yes, silhouettes of trees. Yeah. So 2 shorter ones. I think these are the shorter ones for the ends.
Okay.
And then the longer ones are the trees on the long ends. Hopefully that's not too short. You're welcome. Here's a thicker brush for the wash if you want. And then this thinner brush can be used to paint the stripes on the birch tree. So cool. Ooh, I like that one too. Oh wow, I love the colors on that one. They're so bright. Ooh, you did shadows too. That's cool. I love that. Ooh. Beautiful. Yeah.
Tearing apart and it bled.
Yeah, it wasn't quite dry
She was
yet.
wishing it on me.
Oh my goodness. What time is it? I was gonna say, if you want, you can leave these. Leave these and let them be until the end of the day, because then we can let them dry fully. But let me get back that picture for some of you guys. There's the birch trees. You can find all kinds of ideas of art projects on Pinterest, and Teachers Pay Teachers too. I have one book at home that's teaching art with literature, with children's literature, and I really like that one. It teaches all the elements of art in that book, or has ideas of ways to teach all of the elements of art. And I think when Kalisha and I developed our yearly plan, we were looking at those various elements of art, because some of the standards in our Adventist standards for art are pretty broad and can be applied to a lot of the different elements of art. So we wanted to be a little more specific. So this could be, yeah, this could be a lot of different ones.
Find the tree right there.
Does the union provide
Yes?
those for every school or every class? Like, you know, if we had a set of them for every subject, and we can turn to
A set of the standards?
like that,
Yes, your school should have a
hard copy, right?
hard copy of it, a folder.
Look it all up.
Exact, it'll be at your school. If it's not at your school, you can contact your conference and they will provide you with one of these. Or you can print them from the website too, if you want. But they should have the hard copy, the fold out, like Ben was showing us for language arts. Yeah.
I have to make 4 copies.
Let me, what was your question?
I think my picture's upside down. I'm like, do I have to make more copies?
Wow. Ooh, that's beautiful. All right, so for, with the kids, another element we could talk about here is shadows. So when you get to your details on the birch tree, think about where the light is coming from. If it's the moon or the sun, you're going to have light coming from one direction generally. And so if you're putting an outline on your trees, usually you'll have maybe just one side of that tree kind of outlined or in the shadow. So if you look here, just kidding. Oh. Here, okay. It doesn't always hold true. Like in the middle picture, you can see that they're all outlined, and in the one on the left. And yet, there's a subtle gray shadow on one side of the birch tree. It's a subtle gray line that's representing the shadow. Like, On this one over here, you can see somebody painted like a thick light gray line all the way up to show that the light's coming from this direction and this side of the tree is in shadow. So these are all things that you will want to talk about with your kids. If you want to have the shadow coming down on the ground as well, if you've made your birch tree stop before the bottom of the paper, you might want to have a shadow on the ground. If it goes all the way down to the bottom, you don't have to outline the trees. You can, but then one side of this tree has a shadow on it. And you'll notice the shadow this line doesn't go up in front of this branch because this branch is coming out of the front side of the tree. So it doesn't cut that off. You have to kind of keep in mind, I don't know. This is why I use Arts Attacks, because I love art, but I don't have a lot of confidence teaching it. I need like a guide. That is so pretty. Yeah. So are you guys waiting until they're like totally fully dry? Yeah, just in case. It's a good idea. That's the plan. Usually this is actually a 2-day art project in the classroom because I do art 2 days a week for like 15 or 20 minutes each day because a lot of art projects have some drying time in them. So that helps. Like we do the first part of the project and then we let it dry or set or whatever, and then the last half of the week we come back and finish it. But that's basically it, guys. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed relaxing and creating some art today. Yeah, yay. Yay for you guys. I can't wait to see them.